So in front of me here, I have my most um, awaited knife of 2024. Um, and I didn't get it in 2024. Uh, I didn't get it till yesterday, which was July 7th, 2025. Um, but this is the 2024 Blade Forums knife made by Great Eastern Cutlery. And they're calling this the 91 pattern. And it's a Stockman. The other 91s were like Congress, Sheepfoot. Somebody said it was the Oops Too Many Sheepfoot knife because it was all Sheepfoot blades. Um, and four Sheepfoot blades aren't really my thing, so I didn't get one of those, obviously. And I was waiting for my Blade Forms knife because I had pre-ordered it back in like, was it August? I think it was August. So pre-ordered it in August. $250 pre-order. 300 if you didn't pre-order. So I saved myself $50. I didn't spend 250. I saved $50. That's the girl math, as the Zoomers would call it. Uh, but anyway, this is the Blade Forums knife for this year, and it is a rather large Stockman. Just to give you something to compare it to, I have the Case 75 Stockman in my pocket right now. Let me see if I can fish that out real quick. Okay, so this is the Case 75 large Stockman. And you can see they're pretty comparable in size, but honestly, the Blade Forum 91 Stockman is just a little bit bigger. Let's see here. The Blade Forum's knives about, I think it's supposed to be 4 1/4, but it's like 4 3/8, maybe something like that, and the 75's like 4 1/4. So it's just slightly bigger than the 75 case Stockman. Um, so a really large Stockman knife, which is something that I really enjoy. This being a Blade Forums knife, you got the tube here. It says Blade Forums. It's got a little illustration of the knife there. The tube art on Great Eastern Cutlery knives is always really cool, in my opinion. It has a whole write up here on the back. I'm gonna not be able to easily show this, but it was written by Miko over on Blade Forums, and this whole thing was organized by Spark over on Blade Forums. And by the way, how you get these knives is you got to be a member of Blade Forums, and you have to be a paying member. I think gold or higher. I don't remember. Or you need to have been there for a while and had a bunch of posts and stuff in the traditional forum. So if you're not a member of Blade Forums and everything, you can't really get one of these, which makes it a lot easier for people like me to get, which is nice. But yeah, whole write up here. I'm not gonna ring it because I'm not gonna read it because it's nonsense. Quite frankly, it's nonsense to anybody who's not on Blade Forums. Like, I understand some of this because I'm over there. Um, but it's basically like he's talking about how the town of Porchenberg, which they call the traditional forum, the Porch, was in turmoil, and then because we were all so worried that we weren't going to get a forum knife for 2024, and then Spark shows up and saves the day. Basically, is what this is about. Um, Interesting little write up by Miko there. You got your Blade Forms pin here too, which is cool. So I like that. And then the knife here. So a couple things that were a little bit um, controversial about this knife. So some people really didn't like the bone, and lots of things about the bone. Like when I first saw the first like look at it, I didn't really like the jigging very much because I really like a more traditional jigging pattern. Um, and some people had a problem with the die and everything. I'm okay with the die. It's a little light. Each knife is a little bit lighter or darker. They're all different. Like there's some of these that came and they're pretty dark, and there's some that are way lighter than mine here. Um, but mine's pretty light. I'm still not huge fan of the jigging, but what I do like, let me see if I'm able to show it off here, is they left some of like the saw cut marks on the handle in between the jigging, which is really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Anytime that there's any kind of like mark that makes it look more like a anything that makes it look more like a traditional knife, I really am about it. Nickel silver bolsters, these are a little scratched up just from probably bouncing around in the tube and everything. Nickel silver scratches really easily. That's why some like custom makers and stuff use stainless steel bolsters and stuff. My serial number is 139. You can ask for serial number, but I didn't figure there was a point. And maybe I should have asked for a serial number. I would have liked number 13, but I don't know if that would have been a thing that could have happened. But my serial number does have 13 in it, so that's cool. So you got 139. And you can see it's got a corset shield on it here, which is one of the more fancy shields that Great Eastern Cutlery uses. Brass pins, brass liners, carbon steel, back springs, and blades. The main blade here is this huge clip point blade that I really enjoy a lot. Um, and the blade itself is almost 3.5 inches long. So, really, really large clip point blade. It's got a satin finish on it, which is what I prefer. You could have gotten a high polished thing. But I really do prefer the satin blade because it reflects light less and it's easier to take pictures and videos of and whatnot. And people will know what I'm talking about who own these kinds of knives and stuff. But satin blades patina different than high polished blades. And that's all I can explain it as. It's just different. One's not better or worse, but they're different. They patina differently. They patina at different speeds and stuff. You can see there the tang stamp does not say Titty Cutlery or Northfield or anything. It says Blade Forums. And then on the back here, it does say Great Eastern Cutlery, which I like because, I want the manufacturer to be stamped on the blade tang. Um, it's one thing that kind of sucks about like Northfield knives and stuff because you don't know unless you know who made it because it just says Northfield um, on it. And some of the other knives they've done, like the Marin Porch, I don't think they say Great Eastern Cutlery on them and stuff. And the Winchester knives that were made by Queen, they just have Winchester on them. I kind of wish it had said, who made the knife actually, but that's the way this stuff has always worked. You always had, I think they're called jobbers that would like make the knives for companies and stuff. Like if you have like a Sears knife from back in the day, that knife was not actually made by Sears or Craftsman. It was made by somebody else and then marked Craftsman or Sears, or there's a bunch of other names they used. But you would farm out your knife operation to a knife maker who would make your knives, and you just put your name on them. But I do like that it says Great Eastern Cutlery on there because I think it should. But yeah, blade form stamped on the front of the tang. The action on this main blade is really good. Snaps open, snaps closed. It's smooth and everything. I haven't put any kind of oil in this or anything yet. Of course, you got your sheep foot blade, slightly less snappy and stuff, but still good. Stockmans are not always known as being like the most snappy knives. Usually one of the blades is a little less snappy. But again, I haven't put any mineral oil in this or anything, so it'll probably get a little bit better. So it feels a little gritty. But I'm not super worried about, yeah, it's a little gritty, so it'll get better. But I'm not super worried about the snap open on a knife like this. I'm more worried about the blades closing completely and everything. Because occasionally you'll get a Stockman that the blade will close really, really lazily, and I don't like that. And then you got your spade blade here too. Again, not huge snap, but again, I haven't put any kind of oil in this or anything, so it'll probably get better. In fact, it'll get better as I'm sitting here opening it. Yeah, so on the spade blade there, it says carbon. Did it say anything on the sheep's foot blade? Probably not. Oh no, the sheep's foot blade has the model number. So this model number is the 91-1. So the 91's the pattern, This is the 91 pattern. The 1 is for the main blade, which is the clip point. The 3 means it has 3 blades, and the 24 is the year it was manufactured, which was 2024. Um, but yeah, so the 2024 Blade Forum knife is really, really great. I really enjoy it. I didn't check to see if it had blade play or anything. I don't think it does. Main blade doesn't. Can't imagine either of these other ones do either. Nope. And nope, no blade play. I kind of figured not. I usually check, but I pretty much figured it probably wouldn't. I don't think the blades rub on this, and if they do, it's so slightly that you can't feel it when you're opening the blade. But they're fit in there beautifully. Most of the time, Stockmans, no matter who they're made by, rub a little bit. So, if it rubs a little bit, not the end of the world, but look at how well fit those blades are in there. Oh gosh, come on, focus. This is just fit together really well. Really impressive. Just a beautiful piece of cutlery here. Um, I'm doing the video on this now. I'm gonna have it go live today. Today's the 8th. I'm gonna have it go live today. I know today's a Wednesday and everything. Normally I release my videos on Monday, and I'm gonna try to start getting back into that a little bit. But typically I film a bunch and then schedule them, and I got behind on that due to a vacation, some sickness, work, just life stuff. Um, Last week I was puking last Saturday. That was horrible. I had to actually call off work for the first time in like 2 years. I hate calling off work. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna start to try to get back into the Monday videos and everything. But I wanted to do this video because I want to throw this in my pocket. I like to do these videos before I carry the knives or anything, so you guys can see what they look like when they're new. And then if it's a knife that I carry a bunch, you'll see it later in my most carried knives video type thing um, at the end of the year. Um, but yeah, I like you guys to see what they're like new. That's why I don't do a whole lot of knife reviews and stuff anymore. Um, I just do these like basically they're not unboxing videos because I don't take it out of the box and stuff, but like first look at videos kind of. But this knife is excellent. Spark over there on Blade Forms did a wonderful job on these, and Bill over at Great Eastern Cutlery, and everybody over there at Great Eastern Cutlery, they all did a wonderful job on this knife. Spark did a great job organizing it. Miko did a great job writing this gibberish on the back of the tube here. Um, Gibberish to people that aren't on Blade forums because you wouldn't know what the heck Porchenberg is, or what any of this means, who Spark or Miko are. um, so it's gibberish to people who aren't on Blade forums, but it's kind of funny to the people that are because, like I said, we went through all this. Um, but he turned it into like a Western thing. It's kind of funny. I mean, if you want to read it, you can pause it here and read it. I think you can probably read just about all that. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you pause it there, you can read it. But it's just some like nonsense that Miko wrote and turned it into like a Western instead of it being some nerds on the internet were worried we weren't getting a forum knife this year. Um, if I'm being really picky, there's a slight, very, very slight gap. Like I don't even think you get a piece of paper in there. But usually Great Eastern Cutlery does a little bit better than this. But there is just the slightest. I'm gonna have a hard time showing this on camera. That's how slight it is. Um, but there is just these. I think you can see a little bit of maybe. It's gonna be hard to show. It's very, very slight. Nothing at all to be worried about. But there's just the slightest little gap in between this bolster and this handle here. Like hardly noticeable, but you can see. I think there you can kind of see. Yeah, there's a little gap there. Nothing worth being super worried about or anything, but it is there. Point it out, just to be fair, because if it was on another knife, I'd point it out as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, nothing that's going to affect the use of the knife and stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, just a really beautiful knife, and these are great. I do kind of wish that they had gone with a different jigging, and I think I probably wish that it was darker. But I can always try to dye it or something, or just I'll probably just leave it the way it is and carry it because it's fine. And I love a big Stockman knife. I mean, since I got my 75, I've been carrying it a bunch. But this is just a really great knife. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop ranting about everything. Let me just put the knife in the pin here. But yeah, I mean that's the video on the 2024 Blade Forum traditional part of the forum. It's the Porch knife. This is the 2024 Blade Forum's Porch knife. There we go. The 91 Stockman made by Great Eastern Cutlery, and this knife is wonderful. Now, if I had to put any ideas, if anybody, Spark or whoever organizes the next one is watching this, if I could put any kind of ideas in somebody's head, I really like large Coke bottle knives, and I know that Great Eastern Cutlery has done the 97 and everything. I would love another 97. That'd be cool. Um, or just any kind of large Coke bottle. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different knives that I like. But a large Coke bottle would be cool. Another Daddy Barlow would be cool. I know that he did one for Remington, and I have two of those. But it'd be cool to have one that's actually branded Great Eastern Cutlery. Um, yeah, I mean those are my two things. I joked when they were coming out with the when people were talking about the forum knife before it had been announced. I think I posted something along the lines of I want it to either be really small, like a case peanut sized knife, or really big, because I really like one or the other. I'm not a huge fan of like super like in the middle pocket knives. Like typically, I either want to carry a big one, like a 75 Stockman, or like this, or like a 97 or Daddy Barlow or something ridiculous like big, or a smaller knife like a Keith's Peanut or something like that. Um, that's just what I seem to like these days. I don't really know why, but yeah. Um, so that was my joke. But yeah, I mean, if anybody's watching, I'd love another Daddy Barlow or a Coke bottle knife. That'd be cool to do in Blade Forums for the Blade Forums knife. But I imagine it probably has something to do with what Bill is currently working on, probably a little bit. That would be my guess anyway. Um, but yeah, I mean, also any kind of Barlow. I'm about Barlows. You know that you guys know that I like Barlows. Um, like a Lambfoot Barlow from Great Eastern Cutlery. That would be really cool. You could get Charlie Companion together with Spark, and you guys could do a Lambfoot Barlow. That would be really cool. Or Jack Black. Some of you are going to have no idea who these people are, but they're people over on Blade Forums. You probably have heard of Charlie Companion. I would be surprised if you haven't, and you're watching my channel. But he's like a Barlow collector, and he makes like harness jacks and stuff like that are like the things that he has had special factory ordered from Great Eastern Cutlery. And I think in 2019 he did a large like Lambfoot 93 knife. And I think most people are thinking that he's going to release another 93 SFO Lambfoot knife because they're currently doing the 93 um, Ramfoot knife right now. So I think most people are thinking he's going to release a Lambfoot SFO. I don't think I've heard anything yet, so I don't know if that's happening or not. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would love a Lambfoot bladed Barlow. That would be really cool. A Lambfoot TC Barlow for the forum knife. That would be really neat too. So I mean, whatever. Um, I'll probably like it, whatever it is. Because for the most part, it seems like they have pretty good taste over there. I don't think I particularly liked 2023's forum knife, and at that point, I didn't have enough time on the forum to feel comfortable ordering a forum knife. And it was that like sheepfoot. What was that pattern? I don't remember. It was like a sheep's foot and a pen blade, and I forget what, or like a Warncliffe. It was a Warncliffe and a pen blade, and I don't remember what the pattern number is, but it wasn't super like attractive to me anyway, so I didn't bother trying to get one. Um, but like the knife before that, the bunny knife, that was cool. And then I think before that they did the 86 Barlow, which was really cool. But yeah, so I mean, most of the time I like the Forum knife. 2023s I wasn't crazy about or whatever. But this one's awesome, and I'm hoping next year's will also be really cool. Um, I love Great Eastern Cutlery, but even if we would get like a Forum knife from somebody else, like if you got one from like Arthur Wright and Son Knives or Michael May, is that his name? The other guy over there that makes some knives, stuff like that. I would prefer carbon steel, but you know, some people don't. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna stop ranting on about Forum knives that I'd like to see. This was the 2024 Forum knife, and I'm super happy with it. And that's going to be all for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.